Hey boys, welcome back again. So in the last episode of the Camp Dog Starlet, we fired it up and we could hear a rattling noise straight away. We decided to drive the car anyway, and after about 150 k's of driving, Nick decided to do a third gear pull, and this is what happened. Holy fuck! So we took the car back to the workshop, stripped it down. Sure enough, it's damaged number 3 rod bearing again, and we figured the rod's actually out of round from the last time we blew it up. So we decided not to cut any more corners, and we ordered a brand new set of rods, and we've got a brand new set of bearings. We've got another oil pump to put on the engine, but we didn't have any crankshafts, so we had to go out to my place and pull an engine out on the ground. And we've got it here today. We're going to get it all back together, get it back in the car, and try and make some numbers. New crank for the Camp Dog.
This crank is in real good condition. And the oil pump, once we give it a clean.
Oh yeah, we're on the win.
We're on.
We are on.
I'll get the degreaser.
So in case anyone is wondering, yes, we are still running the oversized piston on cylinder number 2, and although we said we aren't cutting any more corners, it's just referring to the things that we have tried and haven't worked for us. As Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. We have reused this Cometic molded air steel head gasket 5 times now, and it was still sealing perfectly the last time we separated the head from the block. We didn't even use any copper coat, we just cleaned the gasket and installed it dry. The ARP head studs have also been reused multiple times along with the ARP nuts and washers. When we had the engine apart this time, we replaced the oil pump O-ring and both the cam and crank seals. Once the engine's back together, we are confident it will have no oil leaks, which Nick said would be a first for this car. Most people will still sit back and believe this build is a total joke. A lot of the bolt-ons are actually quality parts. We have a Pulsar G30 770 turbo along with a TurboSmart 40mm wastegate. The fuel system has a Bosch 044 fuel pump and it has a surge tank. The injectors are a 1250cc controlled by a Microlab ECU. Nick is using a stock flywheel which has an extreme brass button single plate clutch. The camshafts are a custom grind from Tyre Cams in Queensland. The part number is 1057B. There's also a 75 shot of nitrous on board which we will upgrade to a 125 soon. We have ported the head ourselves and the intake and exhaust manifolds are also made by us. For the entire series has been a stock C150 from the EP91 Starlet. Over the time of abuse and neglect, it was crunching most of the gears in only a matter of time until it blew up. So upgrading it to the super rare C52 from the legendary GT EP82 seemed like the right thing to do. We have been trying to get this car to make 400 horsepower for a long time now, and once we have ironed out the bugs, we won't stop until the block is unrecognisable due to explosion. We have learnt so much from this journey already. Well boys, it's been a massive weekend. We've put the engine together, got it all in the car. Pretty happy with it, I think it's going to fire straight up. Yeah, so if this all goes good and well, we've still got the surge tank to put in and relocate the battery somewhere else. Other than that, I think we're finally ready for some dyno numbers.
Yeah, hopefully it starts.
Alright, I'm going to kick her in the guts.
You reckon everything's good?
We'll soon find out. I don't know, do it again.
Is
That does
the
not.
flywheel like hitting on the gearbox?
Okay, try again.
Sound like the flywheel's hitting something.
You want to try and hand turn the engine? Well, we're off to a flying start.
Alright, so we're thinking for whatever silly reason it might have been just in gear, because I fiddled around with the shifter linkages, clicked it into gear, and we turned the engine over by hand and made sort of a little knock noise, and that was it.
See what happens, I guess.
So yeah, fire it up again. The AC belt's flapping around, that's what the noise is. Sounds a lot better than last time though. Yeah, there's no ticking or anything, eh? Actually sounds healthy. Not blowing any smoke? No smoke, boys! Well, we might be on a win here, boys.
Do need a new starter motor though, unfortunately.
Oh well, boys, we'll finish it off there. We've had a huge weekend, so we'll cut it off and work on getting the surge tank and stuff done at a later date and get it back on the dyno.
Sick.
So when we started up Nick's car last night, we heard a one-off rattle and we didn't know what it was. And I've gone to start it up today and it's got the same rattle. Have a listen to this.
You don't think...
I'm just going to start it. I'm just going to start it first. I don't even want to rev it up.
Nah, just don't do it. Just believe him.
I don't even want to rev it up.
Just believe him.
Just believe me, because we've already looked and found a serious issue here. We knew the starter motor's been making some noises, so we thought, oh, we'll pull the starter motor out. Maybe the ring gears, like their little starter gears flying out and hitting the flywheel or something like that. But then we looked down here. I don't know if we're going to be able to see this or not.
Yeah, you can see
Oh yeah, perfect. There's a crack in the back of the bell housing there, right behind the starter motor. I don't know why. We think maybe the little gear on the starter motor is coming out and hitting the flywheel, or maybe it's just pulled it and punched it in the side of the gearbox.
The thing I'm stressing about is, you don't think there's a bit of the bell housing inside the bell housing that's fallen off?
Pull the starter out and we'll have a look in there. The gear's still on there.
But that's not.
Nasty.
Man, I want to pull the bell housing off.
So here's the old starter motor that come out of Nick's car, and you see the end of it's completely broken off. That's what it's supposed to look like. So the contents of that are stuck inside the gearbox. So the right thing to do would be to pull the gearbox out and remove the parts out of the bell housing. But because this is the cam dog, there's only one way, baby.
We've had to cut some more out.
Never planned to have to cut out that much.
Hey, you can see right there.
Chop it.
Oh, so much metal. It's like going all in my face.
Alrighty, do you want to do the honours?
I'm stressing out, eh?
Here we go.
I don't want to do it.
Standing back.
God damn it! What's going on?
Sounds exactly the same. So now we've got that noise again. The only thing we could see wrong, when we had the exhaust off and we're looking at the bolt holes in this plate that line up to the bell housing, which are those two there, they were slightly off by what, a millimetre or two?
Tiniest bit, yeah.
And this plate here is what actually aligns the starter motor to line onto the flywheel properly, not the bell housing. So we think that if this is a little bit off, yeah, well, through the other way.
Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, if that's a little bit off, we think that when the starter motor is trying to throw the gear out, because it's misaligned, it pushes that up like that, which is what's broken all the top of this off. And then we want to put the brand new starter motor in, and it makes exactly the same noise. So Nick's come up with an idea that instead of pulling the gearbox out, because we're pretty paranoid if this motor is going to be okay or not, instead of pulling the gearbox out, we're just going to put the old starter motor back in.
Because it's already clearanced itself.
And hopefully all the other extra bits fall at the bottom. At least then we can put some Ks on the car and
See how it all goes and
see how
stuff.
it all goes. So pulled the starter out, put the dodgy one back in. Let's fire her up.
Alright, if this works.
Sounds right. It's weird, it sounds a lot rattly on when I play the camera back compared to listening to it now.
Yeah.